Good evening. Welcome to Where Lavender Grows. This is Josh, and today we're going to be honoring the life of Linda Gayle Jackson. So, welcome if you're new here. Um, we are just a community here, maybe just a community of a few that really focuses on um, honoring victims of violent crime and trying to make sense out of it. We try to make sense out of it together, if there is any sense to be made. Uh, but I think it is something important to me and to some of the people that I follow uh, throughout that that we honor victims and more less of the sensationalism that comes with some of the typical things that go with sometimes podcasting and um, uh, the sensationalism that comes with a media and a media driven or a commodity driven understanding of true crime. And so, one of the things that I like to pay attention to here is really getting to know who the people are who are involved in these um, situations and terrible situations, horrible situations, ones that are um, situations that are just unthinkable. And we're going to have one here. This case is just it's a continuation of what I that have been, that that we've been doing over the last 3 or 4 weeks, starting with Dorian, missing 9-year-old boy. Um, but he came across the deceased body of Gloria Ann Covington, and in his own schoolyard while he was playing. And so this is um, it affected a young child in that situation. And last week we covered Gloria Ann Covington and kind of what happened there. So we went from missing a child who was uh, probably I couldn't imagine the trauma of going through finding a a dead body at the age of 9. And now we're going to continue on a case where um, a young daughter of about 7 years old, I think, um, may have heard um, may have heard uh, the abduction or the violence that happened to her mother, and so welcome in, uh, welcome in to this. If you're here, I know that we've this is still a growing channel, but I want you to feel welcome here, even if you're on the replay. Um, And I hit a lot of my content creators on replay because I'm often uh, busy. Sometimes I can only catch part of a live. So if that's you today, just know that you are welcome. Again, I'm Josh the Posh, and I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about uh, Linda Gill Jackson. Um, I couldn't actually find a birth date uh, in all the things that I looked through, but I know that uh, she was around 35 years old, so somewhere around 1962, and she tragically was murdered on September 11th, 1997. So I wanted to kind of really go over and honor who Linda is. And Linda, according to her daughters, and I'm getting this from Amarillo Police Department's podcast, and I'll share a link in the description after tonight's live, where you can catch the episode. Just like last week's Gloria, they did one for Gloria and Covington, also in the same area. Uh, but I wanted to really focus in on who her daughters remember her being. And I believe her daughters' name were Casey and Christian, according to the podcast. And um, they described somebody that was strong, independent, outgoing, kind, and creative. Those were the words that kind of really came out when they were describing who their mother was as a person. They remember her teaching them how to ride the bus at the age, she rode the bus at age 5, but she was teaching them how to ride the bus um, in Amarillo, uh, getting from point A to point B and learning how to do it on their own. So she taught that independence to them um, in there. As I said, they were 7 and 9 at the time of this in 1997. Um, they said that she had held many jobs throughout the town, including a teacher's aide. They mentioned another company, but I'm not sure what that company did. They also said she was a substitute teacher, and they'll recount times that she was um, a substitute teacher at the school. I'm thinking because they're describing, I think Woody Elementary. Um, Maybe we can find that later in Amarillo. But one of the things that really stuck out to me was that she loved Prince, and I love purple, so purple kind of goes with this. This is my lavender and purple connection. But she loved the artist Prince, and uh, uh, always wore this catchy lipstick, and so they had such fond memories of their mother, and talked about her with esteem and with value and with who she was really mattered to them. And they talked a little bit about their family situation at the time. At the time, their father was incarcerated. There was a drug scene going on there, so they were used to a lot of things that maybe 7 and 9 year olds don't typically witness. And so they kind of viewed themselves as not your typical 7 and 9 year old. Um, they were took care of themselves in a lot of ways, but they were taught well, and they just loved their mother and her humor and the smile she gave. So this is the person I really wanted to really highlight and bring out. Uh, and I encourage you, if you get the opportunity to listen to their daughters talk on the Amarillo PD podcast, and you can find it on Spotify or you can Google it. I think it's also on YouTube, and I think that's where you can uh, really get a good sense of the family life in the situation that is going on there. Um, so what has gone on? First, I wanted to go back, as I mentioned earlier. This all kind of started. I started this as a missing persons case of a young 9 year old African American boy who went missing in October of 1998. Uh, and Dorian, 9 years old, was at his school probably playing, I don't know, there's a baseball diamond near there or something that can be used as a baseball diamond. There's trees and a large yard. There's just a lot of things that boys could do. It was up in the northwest or northern western corner of the town, and on the edge of it, as far as I could tell. And uh, this it's just a very rural part of Amarillo, I would imagine. And because you see fields out beyond First Northwest, not too much different. The dusty panhandle that we have here in Texas. And um, they come across her body that was partially clothed, and uh, that was Gloria Ann Covington's body, and that was August 5th of 1997. And so they come across, they find her behind or near uh, the YMCA. It's now the Charles E. Warford Activity Center. And now they find her, and within a month, another murder is has taken place. Uh, Linda and Linda Jackson is found at 3100 North Wilson, which isn't too far away. It's a couple miles, and there is a connection here um, that if I understood correctly, the investigators do believe it's connected with uh, Gloria's murder as well, and um, um, and I think that's because clothing items from Gloria was found near, not at the time of Linda's passing away in that crime there, but it is interesting that the clothes were found at the time Gloria, um, uh, that what happened to Gloria, um, that those were found out there, her wig and black jeans, I believe it was. And so, and I think the the investigator in the podcast says it was found somewhere, something like 200, 300 feet, or somewhere in the near vicinity of Linda's murder. But then you have a year later, Dorian, who found Gloria's body. Doria goes missing in his neighborhood uh, while he was a bicycle ride, and it wasn't reported for 24 hours, I don't think. And people they're not certain where he went missing, or if they could really tell if he was abducted or some other situation happened to him. Uh, and it's hard to. This is just bizarre, a bizarre situation. And I remember in the last episode we were talking about, um, not that it's connected or anything, but there's another bizarre situation with Gloria's husband. Um, Gloria's husband at the time uh, was like a month before that, or a few weeks before that, found himself arrested, arraigned for a July attack on a priest. And so uh, at a nearby church. And so a 79-year-old priest, I believe. And so I have no idea whether that's connected or not. That's why I didn't include it in the timeline. I don't know what to do with that in a lot of ways. Um, and so that is something that um, I, I, I am curious about. And so this is a very curious situation as we go forward. There's just a lot of things going on within a very short time and period. I believe the investigators, especially in this episode with Linda, talk about how they were dealing with quite a number of murders at the time this was going on, and even like 4 to 5 within a 7 week period during this time. So Linda was found. The investigator um, indicated that she was found. This is a very desolate area, part of town, near the three. he says 3,000 block. Some of the others have said the around the 3,100 block, and I kind of placed the pin here at the intersection. And this is a contemporary picture of this is a contemporary picture of the of the area. I don't know if this is the exact crime scene. It does. It appears uh, that the crime scene may have taken a long. It was described as being on Wilson and near 24 and near Muir Road. Uh, so somewhere up in this area, I would imagine. And just to give you a little bit a closer detail of what this area kind of looks like, it's dirt roads, it's fields. You've got those barbed wire fences on either side. Those kind of cover the panhandle as you're going around, and it appears even today these are still dirt roads on a very rural area part of town. And there's a lot of fields. There's a lot of livestock. There's a lot of different types of uh, businesses and farms and things like that that may be here. A lot of brush, as you can see in the left-hand corner up above the street sign. Uh, there's a lot of brush um, and things that. But not only that, you find a lot of different like uh, uh, you'll find trash, you'll find tires, you'll find different uh, just just those small little trees, maybe a barn in the distance, um, um, a utility shed of some sort, um, a business out there. There's just a lot going on, and I can only imagine how dark it is out here and what this scene could be like. And even here in this picture, you see tire tracks, and the investigator, uh, and I'm begging for his name now. I'll get it here in a few moments. The investigator describes the scene that way, that there were a lot of footprints. She was found, again, partially clothed, a white shoe, I think a light colored jacket of some sort, either blue or lavender, um, and describes how large of a crime scene it was. Because there were footprints, um, there were um, uh, there were tire tracks. I could only imagine a lot of trash. Her daughters mentioned how some of the things that they didn't know were found with her, but they were adamant that they weren't her things. Um, and so she was found face down somewhere along this road. Um, and I don't know. It said she was in the roadway, so I don't know if that means she was. Um, the investigator said it seemed from the autopsy it appeared that she had been um, struck by a vehicle. Um, and at first he said that that's the premise that they were going on, was that um, they were going on the idea that she had been struck by a car and this was a vehicular accident. But the autopsy revealed signs of SA, and uh, and so they revised their theory and really that it was a homicide. And to do that, it must have been horrific injuries uh, to certain areas, and so I think that would indicate that. Um, and her um, But fortunately, there's DNA in this case. Um, there was a apparently a used condom nearby or near that is testable and has as he indicated. I don't know if that's this. I'm taking that that's the source of DNA, but says that the with taking it to the Texas Rangers and stuff, Covington's and Linda's were able to be uh, continued forward. But that was back in 2023 when the podcast was going, and um, I wonder um, where the what the status is of the case for both of them. Um, this is just as desolate. I don't know. Maybe even more desolate, I should say, than um, than than where the school was, where Gloria was found. But I think the location is quite interesting in where it is found, and so I kind of did a highlight just to give you a topography. Let me switch this to full screen. Um, there we go. The I just kind of laid out some of the markers, and it looks like it's a little bit hard to see. But Gloria's body is found over here near the YMCA, and I know you can't see my cursor. So it's over in the left-hand northwest section, the very top pin, and then Linda's is up at the very top right, uh, and there that is as I was saying about a 2 mile distance, uh, to a little over 2.5 miles, and so she's found over there. I did put some other markers, kind of below Gloria's on the left, and kind of where the indention is, um, where the uh, kind of the indention. Hey Mustang, how are you? Oh my goodness, it's good to see you too, Mustang. Oh, welcome in. It's really good to see you. Um, and I hope you're doing all right and everything's doing all right with you. Um, we're just kind of going over kind of the an aerial shot of both connected cases or allegedly connected cases of Gloria and Linda, and where their bodies were found. The uh, I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. Um, I've been really busy here lately, and so fitting in a lot of things. It has been uh, a little difficult. I have some travel plans here in the future, and or in the near future here, and so I am uh, focusing on getting things ready for that. I've had a lot of things come out here recently, as far as like publications and stuff like that. So I've been doing okay, but busy, hectic, and stuff like that. So I'm glad. I'm glad you're in here, Mustang. Uh, I've always enjoyed your comments in any of the chats we've been in together on other creators, and so I welcome you in. Thank you for the wishes of safe travels, uh, and so I'm hoping so. This will be getting out for a little while, getting out of the panhandle of Texas. um, anyway, just kind of go over what I was kind of showing. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the. I was kind of showing where Linda's body was found along this road, very desolate in Amarillo, Texas. And I was kind of showing there's some of these connected cases, uh, or they may be. Oh, thank you, Mustang. Am I on your Discord? Make sure you send me an email or something, and maybe I can get you on my Discord as well. So and anyone who joins comes in the channel, just email me, and I'll um, be happy to let you be a part of the community here. Um, and so anyway, back to Linda, this bizarre situation. And I'm just gonna, I don't know if you've been listening or not, Mustang, but we've had a missing 9-year-old boy, and then that came across, well, not at the time he was missing, but a 9-year-old boy who came across Gloria Ann Covington's body, uh, and, uh, and then he disappears a year later with Linda's murder happening uh, a year or not a year, a month after Gloria's body. But as I was saying, um, there was an odd situation with um, Gloria's husband, where he was arraigned for um, allegedly assaulting a priest at a church within a half mile or zero point 0.7 miles of the YMCA where Gloria was found. I just find that odd. I find that really, it was just a few weeks before the murder. Uh, let's see, and then I was listing the bottom left hand corner. Blue pin down there is Dorian's neighborhood, and I can go through these on Google Maps as well too here. And way over here to the far far bottom right, is where Gloria was last seen. And so this is kind of the um, where. Hey, Luis, welcome in. Thank you for coming on in. So this is a bizarre case. It's just a bizarre case. Let's see. Yeah, that's horrible. And thank you again for sharing, Mustang. All right. So yeah, this all takes place within 6 square miles, which in this it just takes a few minutes. And one of the locations that I really wanted to point out in here that kind of intersects, and I don't know if I can zoom in, but there is a road that goes and crosses right where the YMCA is, and goes to the location where the North Wilson connects, where you can get to that road. And so that's kind of the place. So what I really want to do right now, I think I'm going to remove this from the stage and go to kind of where some of these locations are. Oh, thank you, Louise. Glad to be here. I want to go to some of these locations, so I'm going to share my screen. Google Maps, share, and I got to go back and add it to the stage. So let me see. There we go. And let's see. All right. Let me go back to the Google Maps. And I kind of wanted to show you where kind of let's go to, let's see, Amarillo. I wanted to go to where, okay, this is the area where Gloria was found. Gloria's body that Dorian found. It was described as Hilltop School Park behind the YMCA, which is now the Charles E. Warford Activity Center. And um, I imagine that the body may have been in this area behind the parking lot or the trees or near this field. where Dorian and his friends may have been playing. And but I wanted to point out this North 20th Avenue, Lipscomb. It kind of blends in to where this North 24th, and North 24th will take you to North Wilson. Up in here, you can see how a connection or how somebody could have traveled in this direction, uh, especially if um, Linda was at uh, up. She was found way up. Yeah, right here. Somewhere along these lines, it may have been, if I understood the investigators, it could have been up in this area, um, along this road, just like I was showing you. Can I do street view? Satellite. Yeah. See if I can do street view. But you can see a lot of the things. This is kind of the area where she was found. Um, and how she got out there is a question there. I couldn't find out where she lived. I found out where Gloria somewhat lived and where she was last seen on the 600, and that's why I marked it on the map. I couldn't find out where Linda was last seen, and the podcast didn't really mention it. But they a lot of the articles that you'll see will mention that many people believe that she was connected to sex work. They also do that for uh, Gloria. But here, there's a strong word that I keep here is believe. And just like Sensei mentioned in the last live, sometimes in these cases, especially out here, I've seen people uh, misidentified, or accused of, or there's an assumption that they are when they really are not. But her daughters did mention that she had a substance abuse problem, and uh, could that be connected? But as I said in the beginning, this is a scary situation that you can't find in the newspapers. Really, it was really right there in that podcast, and I encourage you to listen to Amarillo PD's podcast, and I'll link it in the description after the live. And uh, uh, but they describe a situation where she was last seen by her daughters, and her daughters remember, or one of her daughters, I believe it was Casey, who describes this horrific scene where she is awakened by banging and banging on the windows, and somebody yelling, "Open the door!" And she runs scared to yeah, out of fear, runs scared, I think, to the kitchen and grabs a knife and hides, um, and waits and waits and hides until the screaming fades away. And could this be where things had happened? She said that her mother had told her she was going to go. Her mother had um, tucked her into bed and said she was going to go take out the trash. And she doesn't remember how long later. Maybe that she was asleep. She was really tired. She had dozed off. How long she had been out? She said it could have been around midnight or 1 o'clock when she heard of all of this. Uh, After the screaming faded, she ran to her sister's room, tried to wake her up, and her sister didn't hear the commotion apparently. Um, And I just, this is a bizarre thing for a 7-year old. They were, I think Casey was the one who was 7, and Christian, the other sister, 9. And I don't know where that was in town, and I don't know if it was in that triangular area that I was showing you. But I wonder if it's nearby or in that. And so I'll be looking to kind of figure out where in town uh, they were living at the time, and perhaps that was the last sighting. She was found at 7:15 a.m. out there, and so it was early morning. There was witnesses out there, so that's said there was a light colored truck associated with the crime, maybe, or was out there at the time that the crime could have taken place, and which oddly is a similar description for an assault that apparently took place with an assault that took place with a friend of Linda's. I think near the time Dorian, a month before Dorian goes missing, and I believe this is in the Charlie Project, where um, about a month before Dorian goes missing, a friend of Linda's also gets assaulted, and a light-colored pickup truck was also um, associated with that. But get this. This is the big kicker. And this is only, I don't know, there wasn't a confirmation with this from the investigators or any of the newspapers that I looked at. The, the person who apparently got assaulted, the friend of Linda's who got assaulted, um, wound up uh, going to Gloria's apparently Gloria's residence or Gloria's mother's residence for Gloria, the person Dorian found, going to her residence for help. And so my questions are going on, and I can imagine the investigators is how connected did Linda know Gloria? And um, I'm not sure about uh, uh, where maybe the drug scene or the sex work scene, or there could be some connections, especially in a small town like this. Um, and you hear it in the voices in the podcast that uh, that the daughters are really talking about how they're really pleading. This is a small town, and and somebody has to know something. Is what they're just. Everybody knows our business already, uh, and rumor gets around so much that they have a hard time believing. They were just like, we want somebody to come forward. It's been at the time, I think it was 26 years, so I think this was 1997. So now this is around 28 years ago. Um, and I was reminded of Gloria's daughters, who also said, it's time for this to break loose. And one of them indicated that um, they can't move back to Amarillo because there's too much trauma there. Um, there's just way too much trauma um, to come back, and Amarillo is a different place for them. And so that is uh, kind of where I want to take in it. Let's go and explore. Let's see. Let's see. I want to take you to where Gloria was last seen. I think 1600 North Mars. So where this is directly. If you go to this is directly south, about 1.7 miles. Um, at least walking distance here. And it's about 3 miles from the the activity center. And so this is more in a residential area where Gloria was last seen, and Gloria was last seen at 3 a.m. in the morning. And I wonder if Linda was a similar time out or um, a similar situation and where she lived. Did she live near, did Linda live near Gloria? And, um, and I wonder what investigators have that may indicate that this is connected, or if the DNA is connected. The investigator didn't go into uh, detail about what DNA they had, but is there a link in DNA between Gloria and Linda's um, uh, murder murders? Let me see. Oh, there's Street View. So there's Mars Street. She was last seen in this, and these are typical ranch style type homes that you will see here in the Panhandle. And as you go along, there's just little shrubberies. You've got the wooden picket fences, which a lot of time these wooden picket fences um, are not are falling apart or dilapidated. May have a dog that can get out of them pretty quickly. So we have a lot of loose dogs sometimes in these areas. And I imagine a lot of these houses were, from the looks of it, may were probably here in '97. Um, and so this is Gloria's last known location. But she was found over by the YMCA. So let me go. She was found over here. And if I go to, I think if I go over here, Street View, where's the, yeah. She was found somewhere in this field behind the YMCA. Is The YMCA is to the left. I wonder if I can get a better picture of the school. There's a YMCA over to the left, and over to the right screen is the school where here Hilltop Park is. And as you can see, it's just a flat, very little grass. This was probably uh, Gloria went missing in August, so it may have been a little bit more green. Maybe I see that the trees are bare, but sometimes it's very dry in this part of the place. So you'll see trees with roots bare roots. You'll see the school is right here. You'll see a barn or uh, places, and you can see how desolate this area is. And out here, there's just nothing but farmland and cottonland and things like that. So it makes me curious where Gloria was found, because I could see somebody connected, or if this light colored truck is associated with Gloria's uh, crime and also Linda's, that this could be a similar route on the edge of town. Hey, Michelle, how are you? I didn't catch you in here. How are you? Um, I do wonder if these cases are connected. They happen such within a month of each other. Dorian's, our missing 9-year old, is um, uh, was the one who found Gloria's body, and the trauma that he must have went through in the year before he went missing, and if his case is connected, wow. I don't know if there's enough to say that they are. The investigators really believe Gloria and Linda's cases are connected. But I don't know. They don't really mention Dorian in there, but it is strange that he goes missing in his neighborhood, um, uh, a year later. And his neighborhood was further down south. Let me go to Where's his neighborhood? His neighborhood was, I believe, near 600 Washington Street. Or was it Oak Drive? I think it was 600 Washington. It's not. Is it going up? Let me switch to. No, that's not it. It has to be. I think it must be this one. Yeah, I believe. Around 1800. Yeah. An apartment complex that was near here. This is where Dorian and the neighborhood that he went missing. And again, you can kind of get a street view. Again, it's just very desolate. Um, you're going to see a lot of these bare trees. Sometimes in summer they have leaves, sometimes they are dead. And so, and you'll see very wide streets, very open, and that you can see pretty far down. But he went to go apparently get a snack and was never seen again. But the report of his disappearance for unknown reasons or for reasons they haven't talked about in the newspapers was not reported for 24 hours. And so they're not sure exactly if 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 there was an incident or a crime scene, or there's just not a crime scene to go to. It didn't appear like there was a last sighting either. So it other than at his home or in his neighborhood, leaving his home on his bicycle. So we don't know where he could have. Was he going back up to? Um, was he going back up to? Was he going back up to? I don't think that's the correct building, actually. Sorry about that. I think because that's too close. I had him down further south. It must have been down here at the 600 block of still a few miles away, but still bikeable to Charles to the YMCA. I wonder if he was going there to his school or anything like that, um, and wound up disappearing, or was he up there again? At his school. I don't know how traumatized he was, or his friends, or was he back at the school and disappeared from there? There are other parts throughout throughout here that could be possible locations for him as well. Um, and I don't know if there's no way to tell if the light colored pickup truck was also involved, except that I think if we go to, let me see, StreamYard, let me remove this. And if we take to Charlie Project, let's see, where is the Charlie Project? Oh, here we go. All right, and I have the. According to the Charlie Project, which this is actually about Dorian's disappearance. Um, um, Dorian, the 1300 block of Ninth Avenue in Amarillo, that's where he was. And he was last seen in October 1998. His Aqua bicycle, similar to a girl's bike, it was outfitted with very, so he was there. But they go on to explain the connection with the light colored pickup truck before Covington's murder. Linda was killed 1 month, and there was a similar vehicle or truck involved in that one. But there was a friend of the victims was beaten, but this was the person, a friend of Linda's, who was beaten in September of '98. Said her attacker had red hair pulled in ponytail, blue eyes, and a mustache. The victim stopped at Dorian's mother's residence for assistance after the incident. I believe earlier I said it was Gloria's mother's residence, but it's Dorian's mother's residence after the incident. She said that Dorian was home at the time and was seen by the suspect. Um, and so this would be after he had found uh, after he had found Gloria. And so this is the bizarre situation in cases that have come out of this, and they all remain unsolved. Um, so I wonder if there's anything out in the audience here, uh, any thoughts, or I know some people may have come in late to here, but there was just basically just the bizarre situation here with a child, 9-year-old child, discovering a body, coming up missing a year later, and a connected murder in between there. And it baffles me. It's one of the most bizarre cases that I have come across here, um, in the Panhandle, and it troubles me that it's not solved. And so that's what I wanted to talk about, and how I wanted to really honor the life of Linda, Gloria, and um, Dorian, wherever Dorian may be, if he is still alive. He was 9 years old at the time. And so, if you have any information on these cases, please reach out to the Amarillo PD in their cold case unit. You can also do it anonymously through Crime Stoppers, and or call 806-378-9446 or 806-374-4400. You could also make that tip at amapolice.org. Um, and they talk about a P3 tips app. I'm not sure exactly what that is, if anybody else in the audience knows what that is. Um, I'm going to look into that to see what kind of app it is. But my final thoughts on this, I think there's something to, especially, I wonder who the witness is who saw the light colored truck um, in Gloria's case. I think it was a friend who may have seen her attacked. Um, there was also a friend of Linda's that was assaulted a year late, closer um, to her murder, and reported a similar like vehicle, and even had a description of this red hair ponytailed person. And I don't know if they've ever been identified. Um, this area can be kind of tight-lipped with in a small in this panhandle town, and sometimes things that were um, tragedies, or um, things that people are embarrassed about or they're afraid. Sometimes there's gang and drug related activity that keeps people scared. But this is 26 some odd years later, and I'm hoping that something can shake loose, that somebody who may have been seen something at that time, heard somebody talk about the situation, say that they knew something, say it or acted weird after these murders, changed something about their lifestyles or left, um, or and maybe they're afraid to come forward or they were afraid. Maybe now's the time. And so um, I really wanted to honor Linda, who and Gloria, both described as very strong, independent women who were creative, were there for their children, had smiles that just could light you up. And um, I hope that something can really bring them justice. And maybe somebody could move back, one of their daughters could move back to Amarillo. And I just wish their families well. And um, and so I'm going to go ahead and if there's no more comments, I'm going to and uh, go ahead and end the live here in just a few moments. What I hope to do in the channel coming forward is just really concentrate in and around the panhandle of Texas, panhandle of Oklahoma, and parts of Oklahoma and New Mexico, potentially Arizona, in these areas, and really focus on bringing um, lesser known um, crimes and lesser known victims and those who don't get the spotlight and really bring them forward. So if you have any ideas or any tips in these areas that you would like to share, feel free to email them to me at where lavender grows 63 at gmail.com. And I believe it's in the bio or the description as well. And if this I'm new to the podcasting and new to the technology, so I'm still getting used to the setup. So I am looking forward to improving and finding new ways to do things. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you for that comment. Um, I've enjoyed your content as well. And every time you've been in chats, I've just have have gotten so much, and even out of Mustang as well. Um, so I just want to sign off with, go out and find a field. Maybe it's a lavender field. Maybe it's, and just stop and think and reflect on life, uh, reflect on those who are crying out for justice. Sometimes they're in those fields, even when it's beautiful and the landscape is just right. Sometimes there's been things that happened there that are tragic, but you can also find joy and new growth. And so I leave you with a call for justice and a call to action to uh, pay attention to those who have been forgotten by media. Um, and and that's what I'm going to focus on. Is going to. Oh, are you in the Fort Worth area? Oh, well, I think we've talked about that before. Yeah, I'm up here in the Panhandle area, and uh, yeah, there's just a lot of missing people up here, and a lot of cold cases that I'm interested in moving forward with and um, trying to bring attention to. All right. So, how are things going in the Fort Worth area, Michelle? Up here, it's been a very more humid than it has been in years. It's green outside. I had to clean mold out of my air conditioners for the first time in the time I've been here. Um, you went to Amarillo once. I've been up there a few times. I had some friends after a few years of living in the area took me up to the uh, big Texan, which if you don't know what that is a big steak place. And there's also a Cadillac um, painted Cadillac farm up there. It's a unique experience if you've never seen it before. Um, yeah, thank you, Mustang, for being here. Thank you, and thank you for tuning in. Uh, and that's what I want to do is bring more awareness to such cases. I've seen the drama happen in other more newer cases, and so for I think for a while I'm going to reside in the. I don't. I'm sure that's not good for numbers, but uh, that's not exactly what I'm here for. I'm here to really uh, build, even if it's a small community, build a community where we can talk about um, the things, the whole span of the human experience, including uh, crime and why bad things happen. And oh, I'm very interested in the Fort Worth missing trio. Yeah, absolutely. I've thought about that area, and I'm not sure where I'm going to. Sometimes the East Texas area kind of gets attention, and uh, I might do something if it draws into kind of the north uh, western part of Texas, going all the way down to maybe even the what do you call it? We're the Panhandle, but there's an extra arm where El Paso is. I'm not sure if it has a name. I've lived here for so long, but I'm not sure uh, if it has a name. Um, oh, that's yeah. Um, that arm, if it's over there, I may try to cover that, or if somehow the something connects, I might try to. I've also been interested in the Amber Crumb case as well. I remember Steve from True Crime Web uh, uh, back when he was still doing lives, covered that case a little bit as well. Um, there's, yeah, there are some cases in East Texas that I would love to cover and and things like that. And I may eventually do get to a point where I might cover uh, ones that have already been covered in a way, or if they haven't been mentioned for a while, I might come back to and revisit them. I see, Michelle, that you have an uh, unfinished comment there with I'm, but this is a fascinating place, unique place of the world. I lived on the East Coast for a long while, and there's interesting cases there too. But when I moved here, it was some of the yeah, it's very close to your heart. Yeah, it is too, and it's another one that touches me as well. And so, um, uh, yeah, and I'm hoping for justice for that one. I'm hoping that some of Steve's work might pay off in the long run. And also Amber from the Amber Alert. Yeah, what was her name? Uh, I'm trying to remember her name. I just watched a thing about it not too long ago, and so yeah, that's also an interesting case. Oh, you're a transplant for past 9 years? Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Same here. I've been here. This is about my 8th year in Texas. Uh, Thank you again, Michelle. Have a good night. I think I'm going to go ahead and say good night as well. It's been a little bit over an hour, but thank you all. Thank you again, and have a good night.